Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast, starting with a quick movie review, because, you know, as I've said in the past, I need to get my money's worth out of my AMC A-List membership. So, this weekend I went to see Hobbs & Shaw, or Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs & Shaw, which I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie, but I've seen the trailer for this a bajillion times, and the stunts and action looked kind of cool, so I figured let's go see it. And I saw it in laser IMAX, so as to get my money's worth, you know, because I mean that ticket itself cost like $20 bucks, $21, so, which I would never have spent out of my own pocket, but it helps get me to my $24 faster, so I figure I might as well take advantage of IMAX and 3D and whatnot to, you know, really get my money's worth. As for the movie, I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie before. I don't know who these characters are. Apparently they're villains from previous movies that are now the, like, anti-heroes or just heroes. I don't know. But they just butt heads, save the world from Idris Elba's Black Superman, as he calls himself. And it's all crazy sci-fi nonsense with adventure and wild stunts and explosions, and it was a perfect, you know, brainless summer action movie to just go sit in the air conditioning and tune out and enjoy a movie. I also appreciated that the makers of this film said, we're going to give you Jason Statham, hot, Dwayne Johnson, also hot, Idris Elba, also hot. And if that's not enough for you, we'll throw in a bunch of shirtless guys at the end of the film as Hobbs' family is introduced. And, you know, it was great. So, for that, it was a terrific movie. As for gaming, as promised, I did actually finish Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I guess. It was hard to tell, really. As I had said last week, I just wanted to finish that last thing with the cultists, and I went and I killed the last cultist. First, I attempted to try to map out the whole world to get that achievement, or trophy, but I never got the trophy, even though I have filled in the entire map. And I thought you just had to fill in the map. You didn't have to actually mark each of the question marks, but I didn't get the trophy, so I don't know what I'm missing. I thought perhaps there'd be something at the very end of the game where you went to a new location, and that would then unlock it, but no, nothing. Any tips, I will greatly appreciate them. But I went and I finished the quest line, and I got the last guy on his boat, and I unveiled the final cultist. But you don't unveil them until you actually go to the cultist headquarters and you have your cutscene that reveals it to you. And unfortunately, I had to actually pause the game and look up that character in the wiki because I was like, I barely remember you. Because this game gives you so much to do, it takes forever to play. So the last time I had encountered this character was months ago, and I was just like, who are you again? Sorry. So that whole story reveal fell completely flat and was just... and then even worse, it's just a dialogue scene, and there was no fight, and I was like, okay, and that was the end. So it just felt kind of anticlimactic. And then I went to finish the actual story, where it was just cutscenes and dialogue. There could have been a fight, but because I chose to be the better person, I avoided that fight. And I feel like maybe if there had been a fight, then if I had done the fight, I think maybe it would have felt more like, this is the final boss, and this is the end of the game. But since it was just dialogue, it just was a dialogue scene, did some dialogue options, then there was another cutscene, and then it spit me out back into the world, and I got a little trophy saying, congratulations, you finished the game, basically. And I said, wait, that's it? So, it also unlocked another mission, and I said, oh, okay, maybe this is like an epilogue, and then after this epilogue, then it'll feel like the ending. So I go to Athens, I go to talk to Socrates, and there's a whole dialogue thing, and it felt like, you know, he's reflecting on what you did in the game, and I'm like, okay. And then that ended. And then nothing. Like, I never saw end credits. There was no big grand cutscene finale with end credits or anything like that. It just sort of, that was it. And I was like, wait, what? So I actually looked online to see if maybe I did something wrong and I didn't get a good ending that would have been a big cutscene. And no, in fact, I did get the good ending because the little dinner party at the end of the final cutscene had all of the characters in it because I'd been merciful throughout the game and a nice guy, because that's how I play these games. So I did get the good ending, apparently. But in looking online, I found that there are a lot of people who share my opinion in that the ending of Assassin's Creed Odyssey is kind of a mess. Because apparently there's the three main story threads, which is the Atlantis artifacts, where you get them from the Medusa and the Cyclops and whatnot, and then you bring them down to Atlantis, and you get the staff, and then there's that weird cutscene where the present-day woman who's in the Animus as Alexios meets Alexios, and he's wearing a suit, and he hands her the spear, the staff, and it was like, what is even happening? And I just don't get it. That was apparently one ending to that thread. Then there was the cultists thread that had the ending, which was also anticlimactic because I didn't recognize who she was. Then there's the end of the story mission, which is also anticlimactic. So the whole thing just sort of fizzled out. And coming off of something like Red Dead Redemption 2, which had a very emotional and powerful ending, and a big massive cutscene, and it was a whole thing, this just felt like super anticlimactic and sadly a waste of time. I even went back just to see if I could go back, and because there was some more add-on quests, there was a little bit more to an Atlantis mission, and I went back and I did that, which is mixing past and present again, and that turned out to be, you don't get an ending in that, because when you get to the end of that quest line, you basically get, it just pauses the game and says, hey, to find out what happens next, if you want to open the doors to Atlantis, you can buy this DLC, buy the season pass, and I'm just like, no. No. There's also some additional, like, side quest stuff, the Lost Tales of Greece, or whatever they called it, and I know that I can get some trophies for doing some of those missions, but I decided I think I'm done with Assassin's Creed Odyssey for now. I might go back, because in the end, it was a super fun game. The graphics are fantastic. I loved exploring Greece. I loved going on all the missions. I loved doing everything in this game. It was fantastic. And I had a lot of fun playing it. I had such a good time. And while I did originally, as you recall, when I first started this game, I was concerned about the leveling of the enemies, and they level up with you, and it was like, Then I tried setting it back, but then in the end I ended up leaving the difficulty on normal and leaving the level scaling on normal, and it ended up being fine. I was able to complete all the missions, except for the Medusa, which, as you may recall in that episode, a few episodes ago, I admitted I actually couldn't defeat Medusa because it was taking like 15 minutes, and then I would die, and redoing the mission over and over again, like doing that fight over and over again when it takes 10 to 15 minutes before you'll die, it was killing me. So I made it easy, and then I did a 10 to 15 minute fight and actually won, and then I switched it back to normal, because everything else was fine. I didn't have a problem. So I enjoyed it, I recommend it, just don't expect much of an ending, because there isn't much of an ending. I might go back later to do some of those side things, but I felt like I needed to move on. So I went ahead and downloaded my free copy of Detroit Become Human, which is free with PlayStation Plus this month? No, it was the July game. I don't know what August is. August just started. So I downloaded that and I started it, but I am still forming opinions as I start it, because I haven't really gotten too far into it. So I'm actually not going to waste any time talking about that this time. We'll talk about that next time. How does that sound? Alright? So come back next week, and next episode I will talk all about a brand new game. So you don't have to hear me talk about Assassin's Creed anymore. Bye!